Greetings to you today and welcome to our daily Devo for Monday, July the 15th. Our devotion for today is entitled About Friendship, and the portion that is excerpted from a Charles Dickens writing is Life and Adventures of Martin Chuzzlewit. Again, one of those interesting names you don't hear anymore, Martin Chuzzlewit. About friendship. Martin began to work at the grammar school next morning with so much vigor and expedition that Mr. Pinch had new reason to do homage to the natural endowments of that young gentleman and to acknowledge his infinite superiority to himself. The new pupil received Tom's compliments very graciously, and having by this time conceived a real regard for him, in his own particular way, predicted that they would always be the very best of friends, and that neither of them, he was certain, but particularly Tom, would ever have reason to regret the day on which they became acquainted. Mr. Pinch was delighted to hear him say this, and felt so much flattered by his kind assurances of friendship and protection that he was at a loss how to express the pleasure they afforded him. And indeed, it may be observed of this friendship, such as it was, that it had within it more likely materials of endurance than many a sworn brotherhood that has been rich in promise. For so long as the one party found a pleasure in patronizing and the other in being patronized, which was in the very essence of their respective characters, it was of all possible events among the least probable that the twin demons, envy and pride, would ever arise between them. So, in very many cases of friendship, or what passes for it, the old axiom is reversed, and like clings to unlike more than to like. Hopefully, Gene Fisher will now help us understand some of that. Dickens's works are filled with interesting and unlikely friendships. When Dickens wrote about the friendship between Martin Chuzzlewit and Tom Pinch, he might have drawn elements from his own friendships. Dickens' circle of friends included Hans Christian Andersen, Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, and his best friend, the English novelist Willie Collins. The Bible also contains many interesting stories about friendship. The most well-known is that of David and Jonathan in 1 Samuel 20. Their relationship held no jealousy. They were loyal friends, supportive, and protective of each other. They were so committed to each other that they pledged to be friends for life. Even after Jonathan was killed, David honored their friendship by looking after Jonathan's family. Solid friendships are a gift from God, but his greatest gift is our friendship with Jesus Christ, the one who loved us so much that he gave his life for our salvation. This is what Jesus said to his disciples, quote, "You are my friends if you do what I command. I no longer call you servants because a servant does not know his master's business. Instead, I have called you friends. For everything that I learned from my Father, I have made known to you. You did not choose me, but I chose you." That's in John 15, verses 14 through 16. When we choose to believe in him, Jesus chooses to be our friend, the very best friend. He's the friend who lays down his life for others. John 15:13, greater love has no one than this, than to lay down one's life for his friends. Friendship at this level is often few and far between. In reality, we have acquaintances, we have friends we chat with, we pass jokes with each other, those kinds of things. We have laughs together, but a depth of friendship where you are deeply committed to one another, where you learn to know each other well. That's the kind of friendship we're creative. That's the kind of friendship that strengthens us and encourages us and provides someone to walk the road with us and be there for us. Come thick or thin, or as the old saying goes, hell or high water, they're there with us. They're there for us. That's the kind of friend not only we want to have for ourselves, but hopefully it's the kind of friend we want to be to others, that once we make a pledge, once we make a commitment, we stay with it. That level of friendship needs to be true in marriage as well. And committed to each other, understanding each other, enjoying each other. That's friendship. That is friendship. I think the one noted here in Life and Adventures of Martin Chuzzlewit, as Gene Fisher kind of partially alludes to, is it's a needy friendship. I need to have somebody to look up to. You need somebody that looks up to you. And so it can be selfish. Friendship can be selfish. And I often note on TV shows that sometimes friendships become something where you're my friend, you should do for me whatever I want you to do for me, even if that means breaking rules, even if that means lying. That's not real friendship. That's phony. That's selfish friendship. The kind of friendship that David and Jonathan had together. Jonathan was the king's son, and he knew who David was. He knew what David was being promised by God, that God's prophet had anointed David to be the next king, which meant that when Saul died, Jonathan was supposed to ascend to that throne. Jonathan recognized in David the real man that God would choose. And David stuck with Jonathan, even though his dad was trying to kill him, trying to kill David. That's the kind of friendship we need to want, to give and receive as a test for who's a real friend. Who's a real friend? Blessings to you today. I hope you have at least one person like that in your life, that you are to them and they are to you, this kind of deep friendship. Blessings to you today.